A rectangular prism with a volume of 5 cubic units is filled with cubes with side lengths of 1/3 unit. How many 1/3 unit cubes does it take to fill the prism? Okay, so if, let's say this is our prism, and the total volume of the prism is 5 cubic units, and now we need to fill this prism with cubes, little cubes, where each cube has side length of 1/3 unit. So how many of those little cubes with side lengths of 1/3 unit does it take to fill the large prism? So if this is the small cube, it has a side length of 1/3. So the volume of the little cube is 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3, which is 1/27, because 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So we need to divide the total volume of the prism, which is 5, divided by 1/3, which is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal of 1/3, which is 3. No. Again, the same mistake. We need to divide the volume of the large prism by the volume of the small cube, not by its side length. Okay, so we need to divide 5 by 1/27. So let me write it down. 5 is the volume of the prism, and 1/27 is the volume of the cube. Okay, so we need to divide 5 by 1/27, which is the same thing as multiplying 5 by 27. 5 times 20 is 100, plus 5 times 7 is 35, which means that the total number of cubes that we need to fill the large prism is 135. How many cubes with side lengths of 1/4 centimeters does it take to fill the prism? Okay, so first we need to calculate the volume of the prism. The volume of the prism is 2 1/4 times 3/4 times 1 1/4 centimeters, because the volume is calculated by multiplying the base times the height. The base is 2 1/4 times 3/4, and the height is 1 1/4. So to calculate this, I will convert the mixed numbers to an improper fraction. So 2 1/4 is 9/4 times 3/4 times 1 1/4 is 5/4. So 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 5 is 135. And 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So 135 over 64 is the volume of the large prism. And now we need to calculate what is the volume of a cube with a side length of 1/4. So if this a cube with a side length of 1/4, what is its volume? So we need to multiply 1/4 times 1/4, and we get the base, times 1/4, which is the height, and we get the volume of the little cube. So it's 1 over 64. So we need to divide the volume of the prism, which is 135 over 64, divided by 1 over 64, which is 1 little cube, the volume of 1 cube with a side length of 1/4. So 135, okay, you can see that the answer is 135. Okay, because the denominator is 64 and it easily divided by 64 because it cancels each other, and in the numerator we are left with 135. So the answer is 135 cubes. You can also verify. Divide 135 over 64, multiply by the reciprocal. So this and this cancel each other, and we are left with 135 cubes. A rectangular prism with a volume of 10 cubic units. Okay, so let's imagine that this is the large rectangular prism. It has a total volume of 10 cubic units. Is filled with cubes with side length of half unit. Okay. So little cubes where the side length is 1/2. Okay. So each of these little cubes with side lengths of 1/2, the volume of each of these is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1 over 8. So we need to divide 10 by 1 over 8, which is the same thing as multiplying 10 by the reciprocal 1 by 8, which is 8. So the answer is 80. How many cubes with side length of 1/3 centimeter does it take to fill the prism? So the volume of the prism is 1 times 2 and 2/3 times 2/3, because this is the base. Okay, and multiply the sides of the base times the height to get the volume. So base times height, this is the height, gives us the volume of the prism. So 1 times 2 2/3, I convert it to an improper fraction, so it's 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8/3 times 2/3. So the volume, 1 times 8 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 3 is 9. So the volume of the prism is 16/9. Okay, and a little cube with a side length of this is a little cube with a side length of 1/3. We need to calculate its volume. So the volume of the little cube is 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3, because we need to calculate the base times the height. So each of its sides has a length of 1/3 centimeters. So the volume of this little cube is 1/27. So we need to divide 16/9, which is the volume of the prism, divided by 1/27, which is the volume of the little cube with a side length of 1/3. So, okay. So I can multiply by the reciprocal, but I can also convert 16/9 to a fraction with a denominator of 27 by multiplying the denominator by 3 and multiplying the numerator by 3. So 16 times 3 is 48. So 48/7 is the same thing as 16/9 divided by 1/27. Okay, so we are left with 48, because 27 divided by 27 is 1. 48 divided by 1 is 48. So the number of cubes that goes into the large prism is 48 cubes. Awesome. So in the next video, I'm going to do this practice, volume by multiplying area of base times height. Okay, so I will see you in the next video.